So thank you guys for helping us get a little bit of a preview. Today we are reviewing slope and distance formulas. That's what's in lesson 87, that if you have 2 points, to get the slope, you subtract the y coordinates on top, the x coordinates on the bottom. The only trick is they have to be in the same order. If you start with 1 point on the top, you start with the same point on the bottom. Distance formula, you subtract the x coordinates and square that, subtract the y coordinates, square that, add those together and take the square root. And then lesson 88, Pv equals Nrt, which we were just talking about. A few of you have had in science already. For the rest, it is new, so we will have that where you can put that in your formula list so that everybody knows what the different things there stand for. And then you can probably guess, since this is math class, we're just going to have some of those. We're missing one, and we have to solve for whichever one we're missing on that. We're just going to be concerned with doing the algebra. So, quick review, as you just told me, to get the slope, you subtract the y's on top, subtract the x's on bottom. Delta y simply means the change in the y values over the change in the x values, or rise over run, the vertical change over the horizontal change. So we're going to see if we can correctly calculate the slope for this thing, and we're actually going to do it twice, and you'll understand why in a moment. So Matteo, if I want to plug into this formula, can you tell me what I ought to write down, what minus what over what minus what? Here are my 2 points. I'm sorry, Alexander, can you help me? Thumbs up, thumbs down, will that work? Were those the y's on top? The x's on the bottom. Started here on the top, started here on the bottom. And then that gives us, what? 6 minus 9 is 7. I borrowed 1. 47. And negative 3 plus 11 becomes what? 8? Did I do that right? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Question. It does, well, that's what we're going to do next. Because I could have written my sentence, find the slope of the line that goes between negative 11 comma 49 and negative 3 comma 96. If I have 2 points, I don't even know which one's higher. If I talk about the line that goes here, that's the same as if I start this way and go there, right? So it really doesn't matter which point I mentioned first, but I better get the same value. And that's exactly what I meant when I said we were going to work this one twice. So let's turn this one around. And this time, let's start with this point in the numerator. And we can do 49 minus 96. If we start with 49, we have to start with a minus 11. So minus 11 minus minus 3. And this time I get negative 47 in the numerator. And negative 11 plus 3 is negative 8. And what is a negative over a negative? Everybody, negative divided by negative is positive. So we get the same thing either way. And that's exactly what I pointed out, what I wanted to point out. It does not matter which point you start with as long as you do it the same. What you can't do is 96 minus 49 on the top, negative 11 minus 3 on the bottom, because then you started with 1 point y on the top, but the other point's x on the bottom. You've just got to be consistent that these are 1 point. Questions there? Okay, distance review. So let's use that formula to get the distance between these 2 points. So Charlene, would you tell me what I ought to write down for this one? What do you guys think? Are you happy with that, or is there something you want to change? Ricky? Are you happy with that, or is there something you want to change? Evelyn? Okay, happy with that, or is there something you want to change? So what we're trying to do is we are taking, and again, it does not matter if we do the x's or the y's first, how far apart are -3 and +4? They are 7 apart on the number line. This would have given us a -7, but either positive or -7 squared gives us 49. Then we want to know how far apart are the y's. -2 and +1. They are 3 apart on the number line. 3 squared gives us 9. So square root of 58. Did I do that right? And can we reduce that at all? See, 58 would be 29 times 2. Those are both primes, so no, I can't simplify that square root. Everybody good with that? Okay, let's move to the new formula, and we'll do a couple of these. I've kind of lost track whether this is number 87 on your formula list or something else. Evelyn? In the window? So for this, the pressure, and for this formula to work, you've got to use given units. It doesn't work if we change the units around. The pressure has to be atmosphere. The volumes has to be liters. N is the number of moles of a gas. R is a constant 0.0821, and that is something to memorize. And the temperature must be in kelvins. And we'll pretty much have it that way. And moles are just a measure of how many atoms of gas are present. And then you do other things in chemistry with all of this stuff. We're just getting the basics down so that for most of you, by the time you get to this in science, you've also seen it in math. Makes that science topic just a little bit easier. So trying this out, we're going to start with our formula, Pv equals Nrt. And we want to get the number of moles, and then they give us a bunch of stuff about our units. And they also say begin by solving for N, which means we need to write down that N is equal to Pv over RT. And then we simply have to substitute in. The temperature is 159 kelvins, and kelvins were the right units. The pressure is 2 atmospheres, and that's also the units that the formula said we needed to have. The volume is 4 liters. It also said we needed liters. And they're even being nice to us, and they give us that the constant R is 0.0821. And this is where I need the calculator help. Plug that in. And that's going to give us our number of moles. Some others have a moment to type it in. Kevin, what did you get? Others, 0.613, and those would be the number of moles. And are your science teachers having you write out moles or use an abbreviation? MOL? So save you a couple of letters, but not just M, because then that looks like meters or something. Questions from anybody? Okay, so that time we needed to get the number of moles. This time we want to get the volume. So once again, we start off Pv equals Nrt. Since we're trying to get the volume, we're going to divide both sides by P and say that we need Nrt over P. So they tell us let's see. Do I have everything in there that I need on that one? Oh, actually, no, we're finding. Okay, so trying to find the volume. So, oh, N is the number of moles, so 0.832. R is 0.0821. The temperature is 400 kelvins. And the pressure somewhere in there, 3 atmospheres. And this is going to be our volume in liters. So again, I need your help with the calculator. Charlotte, what'd you come up with? So 9.1076. I'm not sure why you went 4 places. Okay. Or 108 if you went 3 places. Anybody else getting that? Any questions?